So everyone, welcome to the Heritage Admin Training Program. We're on our ninth session of the program. And the program we started with right from the beginning, the admin responsibilities, hiring and training an administrator. And that was really for both the admin and the realtor to go through, just to get everything organized, and communication was next. Getting onto the G Suite and Google Drive and shared folders, and making sure that's the key part of the program when any realtor has an administrator working for them. Is the communication between them is vital, and it's either it works amazing because communication works great, or it's not working usually because of communication. So and then we got into technical aspects, and really, although most realtors should have all this down because they've done it themselves in the past, but they typically wouldn't be hiring an administrator or getting use of an administrator unless they needed help with it. So the following weeks, we implemented different technology and systems that the administrator will help the realtor be more productive, as well as more effective marketing-wise. So that was working with the website, the CRM, your marketing, social media, how to get more repeat and referral business, working with buyers and getting buyer presentations together, working with sellers, getting seller presentations, and really having that roadmap with a buyer and a seller figured out. You should always be working on your roadmap. It's your service. It is the reason why people want to work with you and refer you to others. And then today's the last week, and it's working with sellers part 2. We're going to talk about the technology involved in making sure that the listing is staying organized and effective. So that is what we're going to be. And then we're going to wrap it up. There is a component that I'm going to be putting in place that we're working on this week for assistants to be able to provide more help doing offers and more virtual. We're doing it for the company, and I can give you a sneak peek at the end of this, but we'll be able to have a session specifically and only for administrators that have or a realtor that has an administrator currently working for them, because it will only be effective for them. If you don't, and you're having the office do your offers, then we'll be implementing something to make the realtor's job a little easier, and that's for everyone. So let's get right into week number 9, part 2 of the seller program. We're going to be going over BrokerBay as a listing platform, as well as Webforms as a listing platform. So really, you're taking care of, with BrokerBay, the organization of offers and feedback, etc. with BrokerBay, and then Webforms, all the documentation and where to store it and how to interact and communicate between the team members. So what is BrokerBay? Next generation brokerage software and system that allows realtors to access a portal that manages listings, open houses, notifications, internal networking, and be a part of an exclusive listings network for real estate. So that kind of does a lot for you. And we do have on our YouTube channel a BrokerBay seminar specifically geared towards realtors, how to start using some of the features as a realtor. Today we'll go into a little bit more detail of how to use it as an administrator. We do offer all administration help within the company if you're working for an agent, training. So if you are interested in coming in for BrokerBay training, for Webforms training, etc., then you will be paired up with one of our administrators at the front desk, and we'll be showing you all of that. How does this help you? How does BrokerBay help you? And I am going to go onto the platform after I go through this, but as soon as we're done the slides here, I'll go over to both Webforms and BrokerBay. So first of all, it organizes your listing. So when you hand in the MLS data sheet and it gets loaded, and a lot of administrators are loading that for you, this will automatically upload to BrokerBay and allow our front desk to do things like feedback and showing instructions for the booking of appointments. And that's something that our company looks after, so you won't have to do that. But to know and be able to go in there and print off reports and give that as feedback to the client's important. The offer registration progress as well. Again, our office can manage that, but to be able to manage it yourself is a huge advantage. So I am going to show you that today as well. The exclusive network, if there is off-market listings that are interested as a buyer, that's great, or as a seller, if you want to get something up on the market, but maybe it's coming soon, it's not on the market yet, or maybe it's an exclusive listing that you need to market amongst a network rather than putting on MLS. That's where that exclusive network is, and we'll show that. It also gives great lead generation possibilities for advertising on Facebook and pay-per-click. Being able to say that you have off-market properties, currently 1,200 off-market properties, is a huge clickable, fillable form that you might be able to generate some leads off of. The notifications through the system. So BrokerBay will notify both the agent, maybe yourself, your seller, of all booked appointments. It also is our booking system, or our notification system for any announcements. So if we're sending out a full broadcast to all of our agents, we'll use that. Organizes your messages and book showings. Within our brokerage, it has a networking section called Haves and Wants, and you can put up as well as a section for open houses. So the open house section is for when you're doing open house. It shows on a screen, so you see everybody that does the open houses on the weekend, which ones are coming up. But more importantly, the pocket buyers and listings. So sharing stuff that isn't on the MLS, right? You've got a pocket buyer. Maybe they aren't even signed to a listing or a buying representation, and but you know that they are looking for that. So you can put it in the haves and wants. Obviously, you're not going to put their information. You're going to hold that a secret, but you're going to put out there that I have a buyer that's looking for a $2 million, commercial property or whatnot. So anything, and it could be anything. I've seen people use it for looking to do an open house this weekend. Let me know if you have a listing that you would like an open house done, for example, post-COVID. Looking for help, haves and wants, so that's a great system. The organization of contacts, this is new. There's a mini CRM in there for preferred vendors and whatnot. And again, these slides are taken right from a presentation I did specifically on BrokerBay a few weeks back, so you can watch that YouTube video as well. But we'll dive into a bit more of it. Provides analytics and insights, so there is an analytics section as well. It also has a mobile version. The mobile version allows for mainly looking after and managing your listing, and more importantly, offers. It allows you to register offers, take off offers, notify listing agent or buying agents or co-op agents that have viewed the property of how many offers. You can do a lot with it. Okay, so you'll download that as an app on your iOS or your Android. And what I'm going to do, why don't we switch over to that now, since it's fresh in our mind. So I'm just going to go over to BrokerBay. I have just signed in. Okay, it comes up in BrokerBay with all of our brokerage listings. You'll be able to see every listing that our brokerage has in there. It also shows all open houses that are booked in for next weekend, which there is none because we're not doing open houses other than virtual. And also a haves and wants section within here as well, so you can network. So again, if the agent is looking for, in this case, a full house to lease, under 3,000, flexible on location, a self-employed works from home, great tenants, rent always paid, and landlord wants their house back for personal use. I actually have a friend of mine that is looking to do the same. They're looking for a full house to lease, and I know somebody who's doing so. I'm going to give Jen a call probably later today. So these are the abilities to be able to network, and maybe they didn't want to put it up on an MLS. They just have it in the pocket. That was posted recently. There's a ton in here. You can see there's 1867 results. So our company is using it quite a bit and sending those notifications out, which is awesome. So that's a haves and wants section, and that's within brokerage. The dashboard is really what you're going to use a lot, because as an administrator for an agent or an agent looking to look after their own listing, you'll have your listings listed in here. Okay. all of them, exclusives, assignments, coming soon, new construction, all MLS. So any listing that you want to put in here, you can put in here. If you want to put one in, you can create a listing over the right-hand side. That, of course, will not go to MLS if you create it in here. MLS will get uploaded in here automatically. So if you got a listing and you're putting it on MLS, you put it on MLS, it'll show up. If you got an exclusive listing and you want to put it in here, great. Create the listing in here. It will prompt you to submit the paperwork, and the paperwork will go to our front desks. So it's great. It does everything for us. Currently, I have one in there. It's a fake listing at 123 Main Street in Newmarket. It's listed for 1499. It's in draft mode, so it's not visible to our network, which is good because it's not real. I put it in here so you can see what your listing will look like. Okay, this about the properties in there, remarks, offer instructions, everything that you're going to see in a listing is in there. If you don't have a listing currently, something similar, if you go to the brokerage and click on the listing that's in the brokerage, similar thing will come up. So you can see what that looks like. Okay, go back over to the dashboard. But you'll have a few extra features as the listing agent. You'll be able to see your appointments. And in this case, there's no booked appointments on this, but you'll be able to see what's booked, what's pending to be booked, all that kind of stuff. So if you're ever wondering what the front desk, just say where the status is of something, you can always go in and have a look at that under your dashboard and under the listing appointments. Offers. This is easily the most effective portion of BrokerBay, I feel. And the ability for the agent or the administrator to control the offer process and the registration process. We were waiting probably 10 years for this feature on our previous system, but they never got together. So that's one of the main reasons why we switched over to BrokerBay, is they have a great offer registration system. Okay, there's no offers currently on this listing, but if I was to register an offer, I could do that on behalf of the agent, or if the front desk knows, because somebody called the front desk, they'll do it on, for the agent, the co-op agent as well. Any agent that is in the system, if Daryl King put an offer in, and you just type in Daryl, if I knew Daryl King, I don't know if he spells his name that way. Let's just say it's Todd Eves. So Todd Eves, you could put Todd Eves in there. He's registering the offer. If he's attaching a Form 801, because that's what you've asked him to do, is send in Form 801 to prove that he's got an offer. We don't suggest it in all cases, but if you've done it, that's great. You do have the ability to do that. You do need to put a proper irrevocable in. It's good today till, let's say it's only good till 9 o'clock. It's important to put, 9:40. That's weird. It does that 9 o'clock. Okay, so this irrevocable does have function. It's very important you put it in there. And it's very important that you know that at 9 o'clock, this offer becomes null and void, because it will. And if I register this, which I'm not going to do because then it's going to send some notifications I just don't want to have happen. But if this registers, it's going to have first offer, and it'll have Daryl King. And at 9 o'clock, his name will drop off. So if there's 5 registered offers and 9 o'clock comes, there'll only be 4. That's good to know. And you say, why do I only have 4 now? That's the reason why. If they don't have information in the system, this pulls right from TREB. If they don't happen to be a TREB member, you can put it in manually as well, right? So we'll hit cancel there. There is offer settings, and I love this section because this allows you to control the way the offers are going to be handled. Okay, the offers are accepted on the offer date of, let's say it's offers accepted as of, let's say tomorrow, the 21st. You're asking for a minimum irrevocable of 4 hours. That sounds fine. Okay, the time for that as well. Let's say we're doing at 7 o'clock presentation. Will preemptive offers be accepted? I don't know why they have that here, to be honest with you. There's a lot of confusion about preemptive offers. Preemptive offers, are they going to be accepted? Again, it's one of those things you have to manage properly. I would never necessarily do a preemptive offers section. If you've held off offers, you're holding off offers. If somebody bullies an offer, it bullies an offer. Anyway, we won't get into the politics on that, but it does have the ability to at least tell the front desk that yes, you're accepting preemptive offers. If there's any other instructions for co-op agents, for example, call Aaron at, or could be anything really that you want to let them know. Please download my rules or whatever, because you could have rules for offer presentation, which I'm going to show you in a second. Offer submission methods, you can submit in person, where this is where you're going to be hosting, right? So currently we're not really doing in person, so we're doing it by email. Do the email, do the address, that'll be put into your instructions, right? As to, offers go to me at this address. Allow showing agents to register their own offers. They can, if they'd like to, and they can do that through the system. If they're on BrokerBay, they can do that. 801 submitted must be verified. Don't worry about 801s. We really don't do that unless you're deciding to. The whole 801 process of proving registration of offers is in there for brokerages that do that or agents that do that. We really have never suggested you do that. And there's debate on whether or not that's a good way or not, and it's up to you. So offer registration notification. This is where you're able to, and what I've done when I listed my brother-in-law's house in Bradford was we held off offers, and I typed out how I wanted the process to go. Register by 5, present at 7. I'll treat everyone fairly. I'll let you know if I have my own offer. There's no reduction in commission if that's the case, et cetera, just the full rules. And an example of that is in the drive, if you want to see that. And I think every agent should have that as a process. And this is how it's going down, and you're very organized. So if that's the case, cut and copy it and paste it in here. This is the email that will be sent out to all agents that register offers. It'll tell them the listing address, as well as the total number of offers, as well as the register offer link. And they can register it through here, but it'll also tell them the rules. Here's what the rules are, because I'll put it in here. And it's fully customizable. So however you want to customize that notification, you can do that in here. So really organized, fantastic. I couldn't have suggested or done it better myself for this. This company did an amazing job of it. So we've been waiting years for this. And I got to tell you, it's probably made our company 50% more effective at the front. So it really, really helped. So you hit save. You can also see the history if you've made any changes to this. So that, if you make the change as an administrator and the front desk is saying, how come that changed? They can view the history and say, so-and-so was in there and made the change, which is great. And then you can preview it as well, just a preview. Okay, so that is, again, back on the dashboard within the listing section with offers. All your feedback will be in here. Okay, currently there's no feedback on this listing, so this is an automated email that goes out to any showing agents that seen the property. And you can customize those settings if you want. Currently asks 3-4 questions, really. Is your client interested? How do you think about the price? And are you going to bring an offer? Personally, I would change this. It wouldn't be my pre-designed questions. My suggestion, I don't know. I guess I don't mind it as the listing agent, but I definitely wouldn't fill it in if I was a buying agent. So that's why I would take some of these questions out. Like, how do you feel about the price? Why would I ever tell you? I'm going to be negotiating with you at some point. So I'm not going to tell you, even if I'm not, they didn't like it. Well, how do you know tomorrow somebody else doesn't come through that calls you and wants to see it? So I would never give them any indication of how I felt about the price. So you may want to change these. If you do, you want to take that one out, just delete it. And if you want to bring a new one in, type a new question here. You get an opportunity to put a check mark item. You could say rate showing, I don't know, let's say you say rate showing, and then your options could be 1 through 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? All the way to 10. And then the question is how would you rate your showing? How to go 1 through 10? I don't know. It's a bad example, but it definitely shows you how it works. These are just different ways that you can ask questions and have a drop-down menu and all this kind of stuff. So it's a good way to do some feedback questions customized to the way you want to ask those questions, as well as the template similar to the offer notifications. This is a notification that goes out to the agent when they show the property, and this is what it says. Almost every single one's the same unless you want to change it, and you can change it for your listing. So like totally customizationable, easy to use. Again, a fantastic feature. So we did the, let's go back, to the dashboard, go back to the listing. Feedback, you can attach documents to this listing, and one of the ones we currently did was the message. Let me just see here. It was deposits that we put in. Yeah, I'm just going to skip that for a second. Go back in here. Just know that things that we have put in to every listing, like we just did this one, for example, it's on every listing now, is the bank and deposit information. So we upload it as a PDF to all listings. And this is, I think I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the electronic banking and deposit location. When somebody registers an offer, we automatically send this as a link. It shows how we are going to drop off deposits, and if they want to wire transfer it, all the information's there. So it's a lot more organized now. Thanks to COVID, made us a lot more organized on our electronic deposit information. Going back, see, I always look at the positive in pandemics is that we sharpen up in certain areas. Go back to the dashboard, go back to the listing. Okay, so that's documents. Messaging co-op agents. Again, it's actually easier than you may think. If you want to send a message to somebody who showed the property, you can individually, as well as, in this case, send message to either all agents, agents who completed the appointments, agents with registered offers, upcoming appointments, and virtual appointments. And you can type in the message. If there was, I believe, if there was appointments in here, which there's none, they would have been listed there. So all agents, there would have been 5, and you can pick and choose which ones get it and then send it. Okay, that's how the front desk sends notifications and let people know that certain things about the listing. Go back in here. So that's message co-ops, and then you can just edit the listing. There's ability to go in and change the remarks. I'm going to say, try and keep that to the front desk. There are certain things that, rules that we need to have in every listing, and we want to have some control over that. If you do want to edit it, you can do it yourself. But again, there could be things in there that really do make a difference. Just kind of showing you what could really mess things up would be stuff like appointment configuration, right? There are ways that we need to make sure things are set up, right? So the seller and contacts or contacts in here must confirm. If you change that to auto confirm or list agent confirm, people will go and the seller won't know. So this one happens to say must call. I just put that in there, the lockbox information, maximum duration of appointments, allow double bookings, that sort of stuff. So we want to make sure it's set up properly. So really work with the front desk on this one. Obviously there's availability as well. I don't want showings on Thursday, but on Wednesday I can't show. I don't want to show in the morning up until 9, right? So you really want to, make sure that you put in the right availabilities for showings. That sort of thing. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward, but I would say at the same time very important that it's done properly. Okay, so get out of that one, and that's pretty. I wanted to show you the overview of how this system works. For that reason, is that you will be administering a lot of it and making sure that if a realtor says, "Hey, listen, I need you to change the showing instructions, etc. You can do that, right? And you have control of being able to do that, and register offers and call the people who've registered the offers and stay in touch with everyone. The favorites and exclusive network. So these are things that are, my favorites is very simple. If there happens to be, certain properties that you like throughout our system, and I think more on the exclusive network. I still think this should have a favorite button somewhere. I don't see it here, but I know on the exclusive network it does. So let's go over there. So there's the 1,200 listings are currently on the exclusive network. And if you click on any one of them, again, that star is over here. There it is. So you can star it and that'll go into your favorites. That's how that worked. You can book a showing direct through the exclusive network. But more importantly, you can search anywhere for anything you're looking for. And as you go in, the more will come up. There we go. And you can say, yeah, I want to just in this section. Very similar to what MLS does to search for properties. The only thing with this to really point out is the fact that you can only send one listing at a time. And I like that, so that it's, people aren't just sending a bunch of, put a ad in on Facebook and say, get 1,200 off-market properties, and then you can download the full list of off-market properties. Well, in this case, you have to find the right one for the person. As soon as you do, you just hit the little arrow button and send it in a message to your client. You put in your client's email, the subject, I thought you'd like this house. It's on the exclusive network, and hit send, and then they get the listing. So really good value for agents to be able to send listings to their clients or be on this network and sell possibly off market if needed. Assignment sales are a good example of that. And then you've got your analytics. And I'll just really briefly go over this. If you just want to analyze areas, this is just BrokerBay information. It's not all MLS. It tells you that right off the bat, but it'll tell you, for the last 365 days up until today, there's been 1,700 new listings in Newmarket. 1,100 of them sold. There's been 49,000 showings, 2,600 offers. Average price is $916, and average days of market is 20. You can do that for any area. So you can add areas. Play around with this one. It's just for analytic purpose. And then the last feature is the contact section. So any of your sellers that are in here that have had a listing in the past would be here. Any suppliers that you like to use. There's some brokerage stuff that we really haven't used at all. Other than that's all our brokerage. So that's all our agents within the brokerage information. However, that supplier section is really what I thought maybe would be nice for the brokerage to be able to put suppliers that the brokerage uses, but it doesn't work that way. It's your own individual suppliers. Okay. And that's BrokerBay as a nutshell. And I hope that sort of gave a good overview of that. I am going to go back over to our presentation. And that was BrokerBay. I want to talk about Webforms and the team sharing feature today. We do have a video on this, so it goes into more detail on how it works as a team sharing feature on Webforms on YouTube. Okay, but within the system over on the left-hand side, when you're in Webforms, there is a setup section, and I'm going to go over and show that to you. In the setup section is something called Team Share, and you can create a team. And the key to the team share feature in terms of creation is to create, if you have a team of 3 people, is to create 3 different teams, really 2 different teams if it was 3 people, because you're going to create a team for everyone, a team for, so it'd be 3 for the other 2 agents. So one with Jim and one with Sarah and one with Jim and Sarah, right? Because there will be times where you just want Jim on that listing and or on that buyer, and they want Sarah on that buyer, or you maybe both of them, and everyone shares, and then all the information is available to everybody. But what you're doing is you're allowing other agents on your team, and in this case, the administrator is going to be sharing along with or helping people on their business as well on the team, whether it be creating an offer or doing a waiver or deficiencies. So you can create these teams within the system. As soon as the system has created a team, Then on an individual listing, you can set it up whether or not you want to share it to everyone automatically as it's created or individually. And this is where you're gonna set that up, right? You're gonna call it the best team, for example. Let's say Sean's part of the team, so you've brought Sean over. Anyone in your office will be listed here. And now Sean will either have full permission to edit and all the rest, or just view, right, and just get information. You can also allow impersonation. So Sean can impersonate your stuff and go in and fix things. Let's say Sean's an administrator for you. There's a lot of different back and forth availability for sharing of permissions for your transactions. Or you can just click on automatically share, and everything that you create, Sean will also see, right? So you have those abilities, and I'm gonna go over there right now. Let's go to here. And I may just have to log in again because it's been a while. So just give me a second here. I'll get open my authenticator and log in. And hopefully, I don't know if everybody knows this, but you can actually log into Webforms not using the MLS, or in this case, Toronto Real Estate Board. If you have the link for a realtor link, you can log in direct to Webforms, but I always do it through Treb. Okay, so we'll log into Webforms. And let's set up a team. Over on the left-hand side, you will see in Webforms the setup. Click on setup, and then look for teams and sharing. And then you're gonna add a team, okay? When you add the team, you can call it whatever you wanna call it. Today I'll call it admin team. Hit save. And within that admin team, everyone in your office will come up and we'll be able to choose who it is who's gonna be on my admin team, right? So let's say it's Sabrina. And I will add Sabrina. I will give her either full permission or just read or write privileges. Okay, so full permission, I can allow impersonation. And then if I click this, every single transaction I create will be shared with Sabrina. Okay, and that's okay. Or you can have it off. Let's turn it off for now because I'm going to show you how to share it if you didn't want to automatically share it. So I'm going to hit save, and now that team is created. This allows me when I'm creating a transaction. Okay, so I go into my transactions, let's say. I'll come up. Okay, so these are all the transactions. If I have one created already, then I can just click on it and go in and do that, or I can add one. So let's just add a transaction. Let's say it's admin test, and let's say it's a listing of a residential condo for sale. Okay, I can import the data from the MLS, depending on the board, add me as a listing salesperson. I'll take off use wizard, so it'll jump right into the transaction. So it's creating that transaction, bringing all the forms in that the company has already created for you. I feel for anybody that had Rogers last 24 hours. My knock on wood, Bell won't be a problem because that's my cell phone service and internet. Okay, so it doesn't have all the information. I didn't pull it in from the MLS. It's weird. It still took me on the wizard, even though I took off the wizard, but it doesn't matter. On the right-hand side, you can go down to, I go up to the dashboard. And so this is now my transaction folder. It's got all my documents in there. It's got forms in there. It also has up at the top right-hand side the ability to, this little setup thing to team share. And that's where you're going to get it. So right at the top, those three dots, team share, click on it, and it decides which team I would like to share that with. There's the admin team I created. Perfect. And I'll bring it over. So now Sabrina, who's my admin team, I want to notify her, and then I'll hit save, and I can send her a message as well. Okay, and I hit save, and now Sabrina will get that transaction and be able to work on that as well as I am. Okay, great for teams, great for administrators, great feature. Okay, that is what I wanted to show you today. In addition to that, Webforms, and I know I've gone through this when we talked about doing offers.
Mm-hmm.
Webforms, the purpose of Webforms, of course, is to create offers or to get access to forms to fill in. And don't confuse it with Authentisign. We get that a lot. A lot of people will say, yeah, I'm in Webforms right now and I can't seem to do this. And I'm helping them through over the phone. And 10 minutes later, I'm like, are you in Webforms or Authentisign? So,
Can I ask a question? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just here with Elizabeth. When you're making a team in the Authentisign here, are we able to add Elizabeth Denio, like our deal secretary, as part of that team so that when these forms are completed, she can see them instantly?
So every administrator should have their own TREB access.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you'll need to purchase that with TREB. And then they will become a member, and then you will be able to add transactions. So actually, they'll be able to see all your stuff anyway. So an administrator that has admin access for your stuff will already see your stuff.
Sorry, I actually meant our deal secretary in Bradford. I guess Liz Denio is her name.
Okay, so Liz is your deals admin,
yeah,
and Liz has access to everyone's.
So we don't have to make her part of this team.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. It's a good question. For those of you that are unsure of what he was saying, Liz currently is demoing this program for deal submission. Lena and Mandy are two of the deal admin that are currently not using this program. They're still using just the back end. So Newmarket's a little different, where Liz is actually getting the processes so that when you submit to a checklist item, which is using this section, that everything's done through the system. So that's just a background information on that. So no, you don't have to add her at all. She'll have access automatically. So I just wanted to explain this again, and actually, David had said when he first asked the question in Authentisign, and this is what happens. I want everybody to know this is Transaction Desk, which is Webforms. Authentisign is a separate program. In fact, it's completely separate, right? Some people use DocuSign. It just happens to be that Authentisign is owned by the same company that Transaction Desk is owned by, so they kind of merged. I want you to know that, because when you're in Webforms, this is Webforms, and then when you're in Authentisign, you're in Authentisign. And the purpose of Webforms is to give you access to the forms, be able to do offers, and the additional features of this that we're going to be using in our brokerage as well as yourselves is the fact you can send it over to Authentisign for signature. Okay. So when you're in your member dashboard, you're creating transactions. And I want everybody to remember that transactions is exactly the same as a manila folder that I think each of us probably use when we do deals, because all your paperwork, you need to put it somewhere, so you get these manila folders. A transaction, admin test, for example, is that manila folder. It has all the forms that need to be signed. It has all the documents that have been signed. Okay, and that's why you just want to visualize a transaction dashboard or a transaction as that folder. The forms are within the folder, so are the documents, and that Authentisign is the digital ability to send it through email and get it signed. And it's just important you kind of categorize it in your head that way, and then that'll help you try and figure out where I'm going for different things, because it's not necessarily the easiest way to kind of go through it's not the easiest technology. It's not like BrokerBay. And I hate to, I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying BrokerBay seems like it was built by realtors, which it was, incidentally. This one, a little more techie, right? So meaning technology people built it and not necessarily realtors. So where we would see something as like, oh, that makes sense, they don't see it that way, right? They see it a little different. So that's why we have to figure out how you kind of compartmentalize all the different sections, and that's you just have to get used to it. But what it does allow you to do is have a virtual area to keep all your documents that you have signed, and that's in the document section. I'm going to show you a couple things just from an administrative standpoint that I like to do just to organize. any of your transactions, instead of saying admin test, put in, this is a listing for 33 Davis Drive, unit 45, let's say. And that helps me categorize it when I'm looking at my stuff. So this is the listing information for 33 Davis Drive, number 45. Within the section, in our document section, as you fill out forms and have them authenticized, they'll actually be put right into your document section for you, which is great. If they're not, if you get one signed by person, you scan it in, you go to your document section, and this is where you scan it in. This is where it's going to be. Organize this a little. I like to, organize by adding, and this is the for Newmarket and Hamilton actually, and now Bradford as well. Those offices, all the offices are doing this now. When we hand in listing paperwork or hand in deal paperwork, they will add folders. We'll say, let's say there was an offer on this. I'll put in there, I think that what they do is like first offer, number one offer, right? Hit save. So when all that stuff gets put in here, let's say, whether it be the 801 plus the agreement of purchase and sale and the confirmation of cooperation, it was submitted. You can put it into this folder for the first offer, or offer from Todd Eves. We'll go in here and you can, Todd Eves offer. So it gives you some really good opportunity in here to organize your files within the folder. Okay. Again, think of it as a manila folder going back. If that manila folder has all the documents for all the deals and all the offers, now you get subsections within there to be able to organize it and put all the right documents. Something deal fell through, you can add something, add a new folder, say, Todd's offer deal fell through. And a date, April 18th. 2021. You can name it whatever you need to, just to be more organized. So this is now Todd's offer that deal fell through. I'll put off, but whatever offer. Deal fell through April 18th, 2021. Right? I hope that helps a little bit. And this is like little tips and tricks that we use at the office, as well as what an administrator can help, organize those documents within those transactions, right? I always keep, even here when I do this, I always look to use this side, right? It's actually this side that's probably more useful, because this is all the things you can do within that transaction. So I'll go back over to, like, say, the forms. And let's say I need to fill in one of our forms. If I want to see all the signing that's been done with that transaction, it'll be in there. All the documents. Don't worry about checklist items till we get that completely working great. The details, of course, the dashboard. If you want to go right back to the wizard, you can start at the wizard. All right, that's the details. So that wasn't the wizard. It just happens to look like the wizard. So when I said don't use the wizard, because when you click on wizard, it'll actually take you through 5 steps. There it is. See the details, 1 of 5. It looks the same, but it'll actually start asking you questions, right? Most of you know how to use that part because you've done it before. But so that is an overview of how to use the team share feature, as well as just some tips and tricks when using transactions, and how to organize them a little bit more within the document section, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back over to the hat session, which is right here, and say we're pretty much done. I went through Webforms. Oh yeah, this is just an overview of the Webforms. I guess I didn't get to that slide, but what the Webforms system does for you, and I just went through it all with you anyway. So that is pretty much done. I did want to show you a different opportunity, okay, for admin. As well, what we're going to be looking, you guys get a sneak peek on this today, what we're going to reveal in the next week or two. Currently, if you were to do an offer for you, so let's say you were using the front desk administration in order to do your offer, you would need, as an agent, to effectively tell your administrator what you want in that offer. And the only way to do that currently is using cheat sheets. So we got these cheat sheets. Let me just, I don't know if everybody can see me, but we have these cheat sheets you fill in. And being that I'm not much of a pen to paper type guy, this always annoyed me. And I always wanted to come up with a system that allowed us to fill this in virtually. This is really where we need to be. So as a company, we've developed something called C2 virtual offers. During the regular opening hours, you can submit a virtual offer by just saying, yes, I want a residential freehold purchase for the Newmarket office. We are the cooperating broker. Put your name, put your email address, your cell phone, the MLS number. Now that's going to bring in a lot of information, but I want to make sure it's the right information. So I just want you to confirm the property address, and that verifies it's the right house, your buyer's names, any additional buyer's names, the fronting, municipal frontage, depth, and legal all gets brought in. But if it's wrong or you want to change it or do anything, you can put in a change. What you want to offer, what you want to do as a deposit, herewith upon acceptance, listing brokerage, attached schedules, your revocable time, date, completion date, chattels, fixtures, rental items, HST, title search date, present use. The clauses that we include, we already include these clauses. If for some reason you want to change that, there's a section there that we're going to put, or we have put that you can change it or add. So you want to add a clause, you can click on here, and it will automatically bring up our clause sheets. There's our clause, there's our clause sheets. You just put in the clause number that you want to have added. So you just write it down, go back over, and then down here, just so you know, yeah, I'm going to change the order of these, but you can put the additional clauses in this section. Going back up, we will need for these clauses the finance condition date and time, home inspection date and time, and seller to provide a survey by a certain date. Let's say there's 2 buyer visits. These are all the additional forms that we have available for you to download. If there's any others that you need, but you can, check mark the forms you want. And then any other direction. You certify it, understand, submit, goes to our front desks. They'll type the offer. They'll send you all the forms and put it into your web forms for you. What I'm suggesting now is that we're doing this as a company for agents that currently have our front desks doing offers for them. I can make this available for administrators and their agent as well on a separate account from the company, so that Liz is making an offer for David. David can, on the go, bring up the form on his phone, fill it in, gets submitted to Liz. Liz has it all done up, sends it to David. David looks it over, says it's great. Let's go ahead and so it's a great connection between the administrator and the realtor. So I wanted some feedback on that, and if you see that as a good advantage for you, then I will be getting a hold of the agents that we know have assistance with us and get that set up. And that is today's presentation. Open up for any discussion or questions. We will have the recording for this session available on the YouTube channel. If you want to, if you know how to use YouTube, great. Just type in Century 21 Heritage Group Training if you don't have access to that. And if you don't, you can go on your Remarketer, and in the Brokerage Hub, there's a YouTube section in there as well. That's where you're going to find it. Sweta, you're asking where the cheat sheet is. So are you talking, so these cheat sheets are the current, we'll call it the old school pen to papers. And this one that I'm doing currently is in beta test this week. We're just getting all the notifications set up with the front desks to get it in good working order. And then I either be, I like to push things a little quicker. So I like to get it done for Thursday at the town hall and show everybody more, let's say, just be safer to say next week. Yeah, so this one, it is not currently available because I'm not going to send it out yet. It's not 100% tweaked. And we're going to do it for currently, Let's go back. 3 different types of offers. Well, really 4, but 3 different types. Leave page. I'm going to show you the different types. Any residential freehold purchase was typical. Any residential condo purchase was typical, and any lease, residential lease. We'll see how that goes for a bit, test it out, and then we'll start rolling out commercial business. Really, I guess the commercial end of things as well. Well, thanks everyone. That ends up the admin training, and we have 9 sessions now, all on YouTube. 1 through 9 will be made available at any time. So if you hire an admin or any one of our admin that gets hired as a realtor, they can go right from 1 to 9, start implementing this for their agent, and that way it's really a great training program for administrators to go through and have everything set up and work at 100% efficiency. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like our video, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and even the little bell to get notifications, just so you can stay in touch and watch more of these great videos.